What's up everybody, Griffey here. With Companion now in theaters, it got me wondering, what are the best robots in horror movie history? Sure, we all love blood and guts, but sometimes we need a little extra elbow grease from our killers.
Just relax. Remember to smile and act happy.
Iris may be the newest robot on this list, but she has for sure secured her spot. Companion is the story of a couple who join their friends for a weekend in a remote mansion. What begins as a fun wine-fueled hang turns violent and depraved as we discover Iris is there for more than companionship. The future of robotic wrestling partners is already upon us. As robots and AI become more integrated in our lives, we must ask at what point does the line between robot and human blur and become indistinguishable? Companion is a hilarious sci-fi setup that asks some very dark questions. What makes Iris such an amazing robot is the deeply empathetic portrayal by Sophie Thatcher. She may be artificial, but she often acts more human than the other characters in the movie. Watching as she decides how to rewrite her story amidst this blood-soaked narrative will have us questioning what it means not only to be human, but to be a good human. Iris at least shows us what it means to be an amazing horror movie robot. Long before malls were secured by the mustache and segue of Paul Blart, there was a more hardcore group of security guards rolling through the malls. Chopping Mall is the story of a mall inexplicably upgrading their security to deal with a full-scale apocalypse scenario by introducing metal shutters on all the exits and 3 high-tech robotic guard units armed with tranquilizer guns, tasers, and lasers. A group of friends decides to party in the mall after close and must face down these mechanical hall monitors. This movie has amazing kills. We see a janitor electrocution, a dirty magazine sneak attack, and a full-on head explosion. I understand technology sometimes goes awry, but it seems this mall dramatically overestimated the level of threat they would face. Never has a Wetzel's Pretzels been so secure.
They're all waiting for you. It's time to go play.
If you grew up in the 90s, you went to Chuck E. Cheese. If you went to Chuck E. Cheese, you had nightmares about being murdered by an oversized rodent or dying from food poisoning from cardboard pizza. Oh. Five Nights at Freddy's gives us a new fur mascot lair to these childhood scares. Five Nights at Freddy's follows a down-on-his-luck security guard who takes a bizarre job post to keep his family together. Once inside, he begins to realize things with these animatronics are not quite as they appear. That is, between odd lucid dreams of his brother who was abducted when they were kids. As a horror parent, it does my heart good to see the younger fans have another popular franchise, but this is a dark one. The robots house the souls of children murdered by a serial killer. Sure, that seems like something elementary school kids should love. The animatronic monsters in this movie are incredible, and there are some wonderful real adult horror scenes in this film. Also, any horror movie with Matthew Lillard is guaranteed to be a classic. It's still not as scary as Chuck E. Cheese, but it does an admirable job trying. Michael Crichton hates amusement parks. Me too, but not enough to fill 2 movies with that rage. Long before we fled Jurassic Park, we were mowed down in Westworld. Westworld is the story of an amusement park called Delos, featuring 3 history-themed worlds populated by very lifelike androids. Eventually, the androids flip a switch and begin to lay waste to the guests. The very idea of these parks is bizarre to me. What are these rich creeps doing with these worlds? Don't tell me it's to relive history. We all had history class, and we weren't going back to our desk in our free time. Something about rich people creating lifelike androids as playthings makes you feel like they have it coming. The only thing that could make Disney adults creepier to me is finding out the park was loaded with robotic brothels. Imagine how long those lines would be. Want to shoot a guy without the messy trials? Westworld! Even the robot snake has had enough. The star of the movie, Yul Brynner, plays the killer gunslinger to a cold perfection even the Terminator would admire. Watching guests gun him down for fun makes his bloody rampage a cathartic romp. It's a movie with the brilliant sci-fi what if that I love spending time with. The HBO show is great, but more in a what the f is happening way. You knew an alien movie replicant would be on this list. To me, Ash is the best use of the synthetic human in the franchise. Alien is the story of a group of space truckers that pick up a distress signal from a derelict ship. What they find is the manifestation of all the horror of space. The xenomorph is as scary a horror movie monster as you can create, which overshadows the true terror presented by Ash, the ship's artificial science officer. It's hard to remember a time before we just expected there to be androids in an alien movie. The reveal was shocking. The cold, detached man of science feels very human. The blurring of the line is what creates the fear. We can imagine a human making a deal with the corporation to save the monster, deeming us less valuable assets. Ash became another threat to us, the same as the xenomorph, but we didn't share dinner with the alien. I also think anyone would be terrified if a man who looks like everyone's dad tried to kill them by jamming a rolled-up magazine down their throat.
Fear is what makes the universe go round, my friend.
Disagree all you want, but I love sending my horror franchises to space. Leprechaun in Space is a perfect example of the madcap insanity the setting can inject into a sequel. Leprechaun in Space finds the leprechaun abducting an alien princess to make his bride to become a king. While the math might not quite math on his plan, it is a nice change of pace from just chasing his gold coins. The movie is filled with all the leprechaun gags we've come to love, this time just with lightsabers, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids laser, and DNA potions. The fact that the leprechaun births himself onto the ship from a guy's crotch just lets you know you're in for an interesting time. While what's left of Dr. Mittenhands is incredible, he's better as a spider monster than a robot. To me, Sergeant Metalhead really captures the energy this film is trying to share. Watching the android marine be co-opted and have a full-fledged meltdown in drag is the kind of moment too many horror franchises are too cowardly to explore. It's zany and low rent, but this movie has scenes that are worth a pot of gold. Hardware is a steampunk apocalypse. Its bleak red landscapes let us know this movie won't have any soft spots. We see robot hands, cyber love, government sterilization programs, and a telescope-wielding creep spying on it all. It's gross. The perfect kind of world to drop a robotic killer in to cleanse the palate. Hardware is a rough ride, and it needs an equally brutal killer robot. Mark 13, named after a Bible verse which states, "No flesh shall be spared," feels very apt for this grungy world. The robot is definitely the star of this film. The robot rebuilds himself into an iconic array of practical effects and weaponry. This movie has insane kills. Watching Mark drill the eyes out of a pervert is metal. Injections, electrocutions, robot vision, a suggestive drill, and good old-fashioned maimings really let the team display the beauty of this monstrous creation.
Hi, Megan. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie.
Megan is another newer robot that has cemented a place among the highest echelons of horror movie robots. The story follows a young girl who loses her parents tragically, being gifted an artificial companion to help fill that emotional void. When the two's bond grows deeper, Megan begins to go to more extreme lengths to protect her new friend. Megan toys with the idea of letting technology replace our duties as parents. What does it mean to create an artificial guardian that has a different calculation of what is best for our kids? What if your kid's iPad thought it could do a better job raising your child than you and TikTok danced on your grave? Megan takes the template of Child's Play and fills it with more modern elements that give the horror a real-world rooting for the fear to grow. With an amazing design and wonderful kills, I have a feeling we will have many more dances with Megan in our future. All I want for Christmas is Yuletide horror films, so Christmas Bloody Christmas was a beautifully wrapped mechanical gift for all horror fans. The story follows a group of young people under siege by repurposed military robots who now serve as automaton Santas. How could that possibly be a bad idea? This may be the worst Santa application process since the Santa Claus, where we learn you can become Santa simply by murdering Santa. Yikes. The movie may seem to have a modern sheen, but this plays like the best gore fest of the 80s. Robot Santa delivers old school practical carnage to anyone sad enough to enter his robotic field of vision. People doing it, families in goofy pajamas, cops, any human being can get scratched off the naughty list permanently. If you want a little less sugar-coated movie than the normal Christmas film, this is definitely one you need to add to your watch list. You know when a movie is billed as erotic robot horror, you're in for a hell of a ride. Demon Seed is the story of an advanced AI named Proteus 4. Like many AI stories, the newly awakened artificial intelligence surpasses the parameters of its human creator, revealing its desires go far beyond what we can even fathom. The movie is a fun early version of smart home horror. Watching Proteus begin to spread out and take over elements of the house and other technologies to fulfill its needs feels very close to the home of today. The descent from curing leukemia to wanting to use its newly created robot body to impregnate his creator's wife is exactly as messed up as you're imagining. The idea that an advanced AI wants to create a body just to try to make more humans, much the way we make robots, is a really cool inversion of the genre. The robot's cold treatment of the wife mirrors the scientist's own behavior, which puts all the horrifying imagery in the movie into a human realm we can't dismiss as a programming error. "The child is now in you," is one of the most chilling lines you'll ever experience. That is until the C-3PO looking little baby falls to the floor, sheds its skin, revealing a little human who says, "I am alive." Nothing is quite as sweet as young love, until that love takes a robotic turn as it does in Deadly Friend. The story follows a teenage boy who has created a robotic friend who develops a crush on his neighbor girl. After their first kiss, Samantha is pushed down the stairs by her abusive father and left brain dead. Paul's response? Take the microchip from his destroyed robot companion and insert it into the brain of his crush. Yes, it's a horrible idea, but the heart wants what the heart wants. The newly reawakened Samantha struggles to find its place in this creepy new world between robot and teenage girl. She now is enhanced beyond the flesh, but still has all of the emotions and trauma of a human, which leads to a killing spree that is full of fleshy delights. You may not have seen this film, but I would bet you've seen the gif of Chrissy Swanson throwing a basketball like Randy Johnson into Mama Fratelli's head, which explodes like a giant cherry pie. It's the kind of horror movie image you can't help but give a standing ovation. If you love something, often you have to let it go. If you don't, it may peel its face off, revealing a robot that will rip your body apart.
Come with me, Paul.
Halloween 3 Season of the Witch has always been a divisive entry in the Halloween franchise. Thankfully, over the years, more and more audiences have found themselves rocking out to the Silver Shamrock jingle. This film is about a Halloween mask company that, through a combination of technology and druidic magic, will process anyone wearing one of these masks when they activate a kill signal. Yes, from Michael Myers' mask to a mask with a small fragment of Stonehenge is a huge leap from the slasher genre. The mayhem may be magically dispensed, but the movie also shows us that Silver Shamrock makes more than masks, but android hitmen. In fact, Tom Atkins' road trip partner and lover is even revealed to be an android sleeper agent, which brings a whole new meaning to the term sleeper agent. The Men in Black are a nice substitute in the midst of this bizarre story for those looking for that good old Michael Myers feeling. It may be a wildly different kind of movie, but it is full of insanity that I can't get enough of. The whole idea of Halloween was to be an anthology franchise full of crazy stories like Season of the Witch, but it turns out you truly can't kill Michael Myers. That's my list of the best horror movie robots. Where do you think this list could have used an upgrade? Beware though, speaking ill of these killers. The flesh is weak. Bend the knee to the brutal robot overlords.